Alpine is having one of its worst years in recent memory, so there are many unknowns for the future. Alpine's driver roster for next season remains unknown. Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly are not assured to stay at Enstone, making it critical for Bruno Famin to plan for the eventuality of departures. And Ocon has done everything he shouldn't do to keep his place in recent weeks, and it's getting more and more when Ocon is to leave and who is to replace him. Bruno Famin spoke up about his driver selection just a few weeks into the season. With Alpine sinking near the bottom of the pack, the French team's principal conceded that losing or even sending away one of his drivers for 2025 was an option. But he was pressured into talking about kicking his drivers once again in Monaco after Ocon crashed into Gasly. In this case, he stated that academy drivers were available to fill any openings. Jack Doohan was specifically acknowledged as a valuable contributor to the team. The Australian is now doing his duties as a reserve driver. Last week in Monaco, amongst all of the team's difficulties, Doohan was credited with performing critical simulator work on Friday night to correct the A524's configuration. Speaking of the Monaco Grand Prix, it was this episode that sparked the increased scrutiny at Alpine. Only months after losing technical director Matt Harmon, the team faced more uncertainty. For some months, there have been speculations concerning Ocon's likely exit from Enstone. At the very least, Ocon's departure is a viable option. For some, his departure seems a likely, even reasonable next step. Other teams are interested in the 27-year-old, including Haas F1 run by Ayao Komatsu. Teammate Pierre Gasly is also said to be looking for options. While a whole new driver pairing is not assured, it is an option that cannot be ruled out. Despite a difficult F2 campaign last season, Doohan ended in third place, winning 3 feature races. Of course, there are further aspects to consider. Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu, for example, may be attractive prospects for Famin's team. As a result, Doohan must hope Alpine F1 has trust in Young. Given the team's current situation, a high-profile signing would further amplify criticism of their F1 exploits. Doohan, therefore, is unquestionably in a good position. Who do you think Alpine will recruit to replace Ocon? But, in a bid to at least not burn all the bridges, Ocon has moved to social media to express his apologies and defend himself against the abuse and negativity that followed his Monaco Grand Prix crash with Pierre Gasly. On the first lap, Ocon lunged down the inside of Gasly as he passed Portier, resulting in collision as his Alpine was thrown into the air. Despite the impact of the incident, Gasly's track position was unaffected, and while a red flag stoppage appeared to give Ocon a chance to reclaim the positions he had lost, his A524 incurred gearbox damage, making continued racing impossible. In a widely circulated live pit wall interview with French broadcaster Canal+, team principal Bruno Famin was furious after the incident, threatening consequences and naming Ocon as the guilty party, while Gasly, who went on to finish 10th and score a point for an Alpine team desperate for points, hinted after the race that Ocon had broken a pre-race agreement to maintain track position. It's exactly what we didn't want to see. Esteban's attack was totally out of circumstances. It was exactly what we didn't want to see, and we're going to draw the consequences. We're going to make a tough decision. If we were fighting for a podium finish at the end of the race, why not? And still. But there, on the first lap, at Le Portier, frankly, it wasn't the place to make an attack, leaving zero room for his teammate. Famin's response, combined with some differing interpretations of the precise words he used, fueled rumours that Ocon might be pulled from the upcoming Canadian Grand Prix. In a statement issued on Friday, Ocon appeared to dismiss the conjecture, or at least the judgments of his actions, while reaffirming his position for the Montreal round. He alluded to his image as a difficult teammate, which stemmed from previous confrontations with Sergio Perez at Force India/Racing Point and Fernando Alonso at Alpine, noting that teammates started very close to each other, naturally resulted in some tough battles on track and sometimes contact. Ocon restated his acceptance of responsibility for the Monaco crash, but appeared to contradict Gasly's account of events by stating that he had always followed instructions I've been given. Much has been said in the aftermath of the Monaco Grand Prix. While I have received many messages of support, I have been deeply saddened by the amount of abuse and negativity that I have received online regarding my character, my driving, and my career. Thanks to the hard work, support and sacrifices of many people, I've raced in over 140 Grand Prix so far since my debut in 2016. I have always been a tough competitor, and like most drivers, I've had my share of incidents. I have been lucky to race alongside talented and experienced teammates, including race winners Daniel Ricciardo, Checo Perez and Pierre, and a double champion in Fernando Alonso. As teammates, we would often start races very close to each other, which in some cases meant some tough battles on track, and sometimes contact. Of course, I have made honest mistakes. We are not robots. We are athletes pushing ourselves to the limit every day to achieve our dreams of winning races. F1 is a sport where emotions run high and passions run deep. I see and feel this every weekend at the track and on social media, the good and the bad. But the misinformed statements and gross distortions that I have seen online in recent days about my ability to work with a team have been inaccurate, hurtful, and damaging. Since my first laps in motorsport, I have approached this sport with humility, professionalism, and respect. These values were instilled in me from a very young age. While each driver chases individual glory, this will always be a team sport first and foremost. I have always followed the instructions I have been given and raced to achieve the maximum for and with my team. I took responsibility for the incident on lap 1 last Sunday, and, despite my DNF, I am glad the team added a point to the tally in what has been a difficult start to the season for all of us. I respect Pierre as a teammate and as a competitor. We have always worked collaboratively and professionally inside the team, and this will continue to be the case. There is no reward without risk in Formula 1, and race starts are intense, even more so in Monaco, where the opening lap can dictate your finishing result. In the end, we are all competitors, and hard, fair racing throughout the field is what makes our sport so great, and the main reason why I love this sport so much. I'm looking forward to competing in Montreal, in front of the fantastic Canadian fans, and to the exciting opportunities the future holds. Although Alpine won't take any direct measures and will keep Ocon in the car for the remainder of the season, it seems pretty clear that Ocon is on his way out. But Ocon should be careful to not become too reckless, as this could cost him opportunities at other teams as well. Jolyon Palmer has warned Esteban Ocon for his selfish overtaking attempt at the Monaco Grand Prix. Palmer described the action as selfish, emphasizing the importance of mutual respect among team members on the track. There's no doubt that Ocon's move was a selfish one that put himself first and disregarded the team effort, he stated. Both cars could have easily been out on the spot with his risky attempt, and Alpine's points chance could have gone up in smoke. Ocon also has to be careful, because he has a reputation as a driver who can be disruptive. For any driver, your teammate is your greatest rival. They are the only person that has the same machinery as you, so there is nowhere to hide as far as performance goes. That's why teammate comparisons are always so interesting. But you have to have mutual respect and work together as well for the good of the collective effort. Palmer competed for the Enstone-based team in 2016 and 2017 under the Renault banner. The Briton maintained that then sporting director Alpine Pierre was strict with the drivers following near incidents on the track. When I was at Renault alongside Kevin Magnussen, he put in a couple of wild lunges on me, but we thankfully never fully came to blows. Alpine Pierre was the team's sporting director at the time, and he would have been quite the prospect to come back and explain yourself to. He'd tell you exactly what he thought, believe me. Following the Monaco Grand Prix, Alpine team manager Bruno Famin insisted on consequences for the collision, fueling rumours that Ocon might be fired from the squad. While Palmer does not believe Ocon's immediate future is jeopardised, the 33-year-old does not see Alpine returning with the same driver lineup in 2025. With Pierre no longer at the Enstone-based team, Bruno Famin has taken up that key role of controlling his drivers, and he was assertive with his criticism of Ocon, Palmer said. Despite some rumours, I'm sure Esteban will be back in the car for Montreal, but a rap across the knuckles might have caught his attention. I'd be surprised if both drivers remain at Alpine for next year, but they have to get their heads down and continue to work in 2024, not only to maximise the team's constructors' position, but also to show the outside world how good they can be. Who is going to fill the second seat for Alpine next year, and will Ocon finish the season with Alpine, or will he get booted before the end of the season? Leave your prediction in the comments down below.